Hello everyone, welcome to your number one program on television, Road to EDO 2024, the very second edition in this new fresh month, January 2024. I am Danny Praise Osedevame. I'm going to be your host today. And of course, we have someone that have always been on the platform. As a matter of fact, he's been on the platform more often than not. He's in person of Paul Owohan Okungbowa, who is running on the platform of YPP. Glad to have you and Happy New Year.
Same to you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, you're looking very calm today. Could it be that your 40th birthday is the reason why you're looking this calm?
I'm always calm except when I have needs of periods. But today is my 40th birthday, and it's been an amazing journey. 4 decades on Earth. And as a matter of truth, I'm surprised I'm already 40.
You're surprised?
Yes, I am.
How time flies.
These are part of the things I've always harped on, the wastage in our youthfulness. You know, until we can find a way to put youthfulness into use, it will just be wasting away like this.
That means to an extent now, you're not just too young to run, you're overripe. So yes. Start running.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, now let's go to your life as a person. You turned 40 today. Do you think your antecedents, past records, things you've done in the past, will boost your chances in the pool?
Ideally, Mr. Praise, the base upon which a political party should even engage the electorate and ask for their support or vote should be on the basis of workable, idealistic, doable ideas, let me put it that way. And very importantly, the history of the person. My history has no theft. My history has no fraud. My history has no vices. And I have impacted lives in the measure that I could as a person. Mr. Praise, I want you to put this in record. That of all the aspirants currently in Edo State, it is I only who have interfaced with more than 500,000 young persons for the past 22 years.
How did you come about that statistics? If you say you are the only person, we have about 31 aspirants running on this race.
Young persons in Edo State. Most of the aspirants currently on this platform are strangers from other states who are of Edo origin.
I beg to differ because we don't have, if you don't have proof to show us that you actually have more attraction.
Yes, my proof. Yes, my proof.
Do you have proof?
Yes, my proof. It's also verifiable. You too can relate with it. I've been in the business of teaching young persons and imparting young persons for the past 22 years. I started it when I was 18 years old. Today I'm 40. For the past 22 years, my brand alone has brought thousands of young persons directly. I've interfaced with thousands of them. I have rehabilitated thousands of them. I have spoken to thousands of them. I've given thousands of them reasons to believe that they can be better than their parents. And let you wonder, my history is so robust, if I were not to put it on a political form, that the lives that I have touched, notable among some of them is what society now celebrates. Let me shock you, that the musical icon called Rema was my student in my branch at Ekenwa Road. Let me also tell you that Charlie Poppy was my student. Let me also tell you that Nasty Black and Sidney Tucker, who are the content skit creators, and the General were my students at Ugbowo branch. Let me also tell you, Wheezy was my student at Ogida branch. Buffy was my student at Ikpobayi branch. These are the ones that I can even remember in the entertainment space that I know, that I can even remember.
That went through you and they are doing well for themselves.
Yes. Then, as far as the professional space goes, those who were dragging me and trying to soil my name because I said I want to contest governorship, and they told me not to bother contesting, and they used one word, that I'm being sponsored to come and scatter Edo South vote. There is one particular cyber urchin who lives in Leeds. He's the one they are using to do that. Thought maybe perhaps they could harm me. And I'm currently in court over a nonsensical suit. Let me shock you. One of the judges in that court was my former student. I'm telling you. Then, about 6 years ago, the doctors that attended to my wife when she gave birth to my twin babies were my former students. The doctors who were consultants were my former students. In UBTH, in Irua, in the defunct Stella Obasanjo and the specialist hospital, you have my former students littered everywhere. I'm saying within Edo State, I have interfaced with lives more than any person who is on this race.
Okay, well, that's your own analysis, all right?
Yes, it is
We'll
mine.
let it slide because it's your opinion, because we have other people, other persons who are on this race that have also touched lives in one way or the other. But talking about young persons that have gone through you, what plans do you have for them? Because an idle man, they say, is a devil's workshop. If some of these guys are not doing fine for themselves, you won't be mentioning their names on this platform.
Yeah.
So what template do you have now to ensure that they have a better life if you, by chance, become the next governor of Edo State?
Mr. Praise, the irony of leadership and its selection process is that people often mostly lean to support their oppressors. And I'm just here to give a narration that is different, and I hope that young persons will embrace this narration. As far as, for me, fixing the economy of young people go, it's not what they now describe as youth empowerment. Give them baba equipment, give them tire pumping equipment, buy dryer for them, buy grinding stone for the girls, buy tailoring machine for the girls. This for me is not empowerment.
So what do you call empowerment?
There are lots of brilliant ways to engage young persons and create wealth with their youthful skill. One, if you go to my study center at Ugbo, you will see an old banner inside the property that reads Faculty of Entrepreneurs. I've been teaching young persons how to make money without going into fraud. And I can tell you for free that even down to gaming, there are certain games that you need licenses from state government to obtain within Europe, America space, that young persons can play games and just be earning in dollars. I'm not talking of this thing they are doing online to collect money from people. I'm telling you just games alone. And I'm also telling you that as far as the cyber world goes, the length and breadth within which a government can deliberately and intentionally exploit avenues to create commerce for their young persons is too much. Notably among this is that the international stock market quotes more than $6 trillion on a daily basis. And the Nigerian youth is busy bothering himself about scamming when he can be tutored on how to tap from that $6.6 trillion that goes through the capital market, either via the learning of currency reduction trades online, currency trades, or forex trades. There are lots of brilliance going on online, a lot. And I feel like one of the things that I would do if I become governor is to add a curriculum to the existing course curriculum that for me are obsolete and not result-oriented, which is infuse Faculty of Digital Economy into the learning process. If I infuse Faculty of Digital Economy into the learning process, the curriculum of Faculty of Digital Economy spans beyond what you can learn for 15 years, even medicine. But for every knowledge gain, you'll be seeing the almost an immediate financial response. Because the truth is this: if you want to serve God, you can't really serve God in poverty, in pains. You know, you are paying tithe, things are still tight for you. If you want to explore young people, take them away from the old obsolete means of what you describe as empowerment. Bring them into a 21st century Gen Z empowerment style where they can be as relevant as their mates abroad. Coding alone is something Edos can, they intentionally, if you have a government who says, let us do this. In India is not only the second most populated country in the world. India has what I describe as knowledge fused into economic reality. In India, for example, almost every street have software engineers and coders. Do you know most of the animation pictures you watch from movies in the US were produced in India because of cheap labor? Because there's too much of these resources available in the streets of India. Do you know Edo can be known for just one or two of these? Like if you want to do animation and robotics, go to Edo State. If you want to code, go to Edo State. If you want to build softwares, go to Edo State. If you want to learn the knowledge that brings the digital currency in the digital economic space, go to Edo State. You can engage young people in these things. When they see that they are creating wealth and they see this thing happening, you'll be turning down generations who hitherto would have been interested in fraud. Because the guarantee just now that the 8-year-old boy, when he turns 18, will not do fraud. You and I cannot guarantee that. It's survival. These guys are literally left with nothing when their fathers have used red barrel to sign their future away. Their fathers have been masturbating the Commonwealth over time using red barrel to sign it off. Okay. So these guys just grew up and grew up into nothing, and they try to create an economy.
Now you seem to have grips on technology and other aspects. But the current administration, led by Governor Baseki, has actually done some things as far as technology is concerned. Do you think you have the capacity to step into that shoe and do something differently?
As an individual, I built a technological hub somewhere around the University of Benin that is supposed to start engaging people this year. It's a 300-seater technological hub where you can come learn valuable skills. I'm telling you, like when I visited Europe, one of the first things I did was I reached out to an old friend who connected me with another friend. So we went to Manchester from Liverpool, and I was able to strike a deal. I met the HRO of a company who they are the largest online payment software company in the entire United Kingdom. So some of the software upgrades and development that they do, they outsource these things to Argentina, Mexico, and all of that. So he told me, if you can raise tech giants back home, because they know that as far as technology goes, Nigeria is very aware. You know, they told me if you could raise tech giants back home, then we can be subletting these deals back to you if your guys can prove that they can get it done. So what I'm currently doing is, how do I institutionalize this so that it becomes a statewide thing? And it's so easy for me if I become governor. I said the other time that if I become governor today, there will be an electronic car assembly plant in Benin, and it's not comedy half hour. The documents are there. The last young man that we joined process together to send to China has come back with full documentation, even agreement signed already. I'm saying some of us are making steps, but we are limited by our let me use the word finances. We are limited by our clerks and the office that we hold. The office that I hold just now is just people mandate, people representation, academic conquest. I'm saying that if you give me more responsibility, the youthful creativity that I carry is such that it will naturally cause robustness within the youth wing. That young people constituency, the results there can actually shake the entire 36 states of Edo State.
Let's talk about Japa Sidra. That's just dropped now. If you check the statistics of people that are leaving this country to an extent, people from this axis are part of it. They are living in their drones. Do you think you have what it takes to keep them back in the country?
Mr. Praise.
Will you create an environment that is healthy for them to survive?
Mr. Praise. Mr. Praise.
Times are hard.
Yes. You see, a king has no honor in his home. If I had a one-time big office before now, and I'm talking to you now, you would probably want to believe me more, because he was only minister of this or so and so person. That's the irony of life. But I accept that I'm ordinary.
I trust what you're saying.
I accept that I'm an ordinary man. But let me quickly answer your question.
Okay.
Just this morning, I was talking with a friend in Texas, and I wrote to her and I said, Nigerians who live abroad are superhumans. See, my brother, you know what it means for you to adapt to a system that is not yours, a system you don't know? Do you know the code in that place? They are currently in winter now. If you know what's going on there, you have compassion. And for me, those who want to elope by way of the Jakba to go join them over there are just ignorant of the realities over there, but they are pushed by another reality, which is exchange value. I mean, if I go to Europe, if it's just a plate I'm washing and they pay me £2, convert £2 to that, this is what is actually motivating them. I'm saying that if you give me the mandate, my people, the first thing I shall do is to give you what I have. And the only thing I have is ideas that can translate to reality. Those you have been putting in office, or those that have been macheting their ways to the offices, just go there and probably sort one or two persons' ideas and start putting things together. I have more than a 15-year-old material to engage already. I have even gone as far as security goes. If I can create security in Edo, diasporans will begin to come back home. I can tell you that. And I have demonstrated, Mr. Praise. I even met a service senator in this state who offered me 10 million naira to buy my idea from me. I had it patent already. I can deploy technology to safeguard your streets, even in urban and rural communities.
How do you plan to achieve that?
My brother, you are holding a tab or a big phone on your hands. This phone already has an existing network that runs in the orbit, right?
Definitely.
Meaning I don't need to spend money digging up fiber optics across the Atlantic to get a network on this place. Now, you are downloading apps. What are the apps for? Either you download WhatsApp app, or the young people mostly downloading betting apps. You can download a security app. And by my design, if an assailant approach your property, your security app, all you need is just press your panic button the way you just tap Facebook to open Facebook, and your house will send messages to 10 SMSs, including the police, the vigilante, firefighters, health emergencies. If you have a functional healthcare center, which I have also designed, it all correlates through a software program. And your house will immediately start blaring like NEPA just brought lights. And it doesn't stop there. It triggers your neighbor's house, your other neighbor's house. So an entire street start blaring. And then, at the same time, when you press that panic button, it deployed a drone, because I said, people are using drones to do weddings. I can keep drones in high buildings all over the state that can move within a space of 3 or 4, 5 minutes to any point. This GPS, it just goes to the venue. The moment you tap it, it triggers the drone, and the drone knows your location. It goes via VPS. So the drone is also serving the function of surveillance. And then the well-kitted, well-sophisticated, and well-trained vigilante that we plan in our mind will be on the road ASAP. And because bad roads will also deter them, the drone will first of all do the job of making sure the environment is reported, fully covered. And if they spot the assailant or whatever, because when the blaring starts, the assailant may want to run. So the drone continues to follow the assailant and give reports from there's a digital room where we view. It begins to send signals to those on foot that the person is where here. And another thing that can also happen is that we can weaponize our drone with a tranquilizer, not even guns. If you weaponize with tranquilizer using the spring system, it can shoot. And when it does, it can immobilize the assailant. The assailant will just slip peacefully, and it will be picked up like a snake.
How will the drone get the targets?
The drone has camera. The drone moves via GPS. And there are people controlling the drone from a central control room. Now, the moment that blaring you did and the trigger you did wakes everybody to an operational duty that there's trouble in Daniel Praise's house, for example, the GPS goes to their because your house number and location was registered to our database. So immediately it deploys to, because you press from it, so it already knows your address. So the drone comes there and the drone starts surveillance. And there are people watching and reporting. I demonstrated this live to a sitting senator. I was hoping they would take it up and help me bring it to reality. And this is why I told you that any home who subscribes to this, because we can legislate a law, we can convince the House of Assembly to pass a bill, for a security bill, for example. You see, the work of security is everybody's work, not government work alone. If every landlord pays us 1,000 naira security bill every month, that's 12,000 naira at the end of 1 year, 12 months. Now, what I mean by one house is this: if it's a 4-flat apartment, it's 250 naira per house. If it is a 10-room single apartment, it's 100 naira per apartment. If it's 20 rooms, it's 50 naira per apartment. It's that cheap. But the power of agglutinating monies is that if you have this service running in 2 million homes, assuming we now use a private-public partnership thing to extend it to other states, to bring revenue from other states to Edo, to increase the GDP of Edo, if we have, let's say, 2 million homes running this application, that's 864 billion
but Paul,
coming into as revenue.
This is a brilliant idea.
That's why I patent it.
It's a brilliant idea. But I have some worries here now. Where you don't have constant power supply, where people have not eaten to their satisfaction, economy is hard, inflation is biting very hard. How do we match this with having good security networking?
First of all, whether we like it or not, there's expedient need for security. Even the hungry man wants to stay alive. And very importantly, everything I've designed was solar enabled. I did not wait. When I was in my design, I knew we had power problems. Just like the electronic company I'm trying to woo, I've already gotten the license to bring them to Benin. You don't need gas or gasoline, whatever. It's just charge stations. These charge stations can be positioned in filling stations, for charging the electronic vehicles. So I'm saying that whether we like it or not, there is already hunger in the land. Two options. It's either we wake up from it or we die in it. So whether there's poverty in the land.
So how do we wake up from it?
I have given you on this program lucid economic blueprints. I have said government can be intentional about solving poverty. And it's very doable. You see, when we bring a government that speaks only the language that the aristocrats understand, the masses are completely obfuscated from the process of that governance. But you see, a government that is very particular about solving problems, you don't solve problems and don't create wealth from problems. I've always had one mantra when I'm teaching young people how to create wealth: look for problems, bring solution to the problem. Every solution you bring can be monetized.
Now, Edolites, and by extension Nigerians, they are tired of hearing those in authority telling them we'll give you crops, we'll help you plant maize, we'll give you whatever, millet and all that. What will you do differently as far as agriculture is concerned to tackle food insecurity?
First of all, let me revert back to the design I came up with over nearly 7 years ago. It was this design that I actually went to present to the Oba of Benin. You see, agriculture is what it is. There's nothing I'll do today that will change something going into the ground and bringing out fruits, you know. But what I can do is to redeploy it such that there'll be more participation and there'll be more wealth. And that's why I schematize the operations of agriculture. A station wherein, if you follow my blueprint, you could be an investor in a farm project, and then you will not even bother about how the farm is being run. I was able to connect my project with Agri-Development Program, ADP, Bank of Agriculture, and I got it insured. It was insured. An insurance company covered it, and I also got an export company. This time, I had not traveled out of the country to go and see what's happening abroad. When I got abroad, I was amazed that the African shops that were in Manchester and Liverpool were owned by Pakistanis. So you mean a Pakistani will come and buy okra from somewhere in Africa and come and sell it to me, the original owner of okra? I was ashamed. And I have said before, Mr. Praise, if you go to Abuja, you see Edo House, Delta House, this house, this house. Why don't you have this mall where they sell African shop belongs to Edo State government? This other mall where they are baking bread and doing pastries for Africans belong to Edo State government. If you go to Manchester, Edo State government. If you go to Canada, Edo State government in this province. If you go to US, Edo State government. The biggest African shop in Dallas, my friend wrote to me last week, belongs to an Indian man. I'm saying that's wealth already spilling away. That's leakages. Do you know that if a state government was very intentional about agricultural policies, the very fact that there are places for these consumables to be sold off ASAP will encourage people to go massively into production, especially when there's security in the rural environment.
Let's quickly dive into health, because time is not always our friend on the show. There seems to be a wide gap at the primary health care center compared to what we see in the urban setting. How do you plan to bridge this gap?
Mr. Praise, there is nothing anybody will discuss today that is not already existing. It's just twists of words. But let me tell you something.
Twist of words?
Yes. Let me tell you something. Any lifestyle disease, hepatitis, kidney disease, liver disease, that affects the son and daughter of the masses today is automatically a death sentence. Where are they going to see money to take care of themselves? Do you know how expensive it is to take care of a stroke patient or a diabetic patient? So there are people already dying and wasting away that are just going to die until government becomes very intentional about saving lives. Outside this country, diabetic patients, for example, even have tags. In case they're involved in accidents, you don't get to pump glucose ASAP. The tags hidden identity. I have somewhat in several fora expressed that the numbers we have can be wealth for medical practice. When I had a meeting with some section of the NMA, I told them that telemedicine, diagnostic medicine can even be done in a way and manner that you will tap into the entire African continent and they don't need to meet the doctor one-on-one. Some of the reasons why our doctors are eloping is the passion to serve in a place where there is modern equipment and, of course, better pay. We can replicate both here. Okay. We can replicate both here, Mr. Praise.
How do we replicate it now?
One, I've done a design where diagnostic medicine is so funny that I, for one, I use myself as a model. I just don't like to go queue up in a hospital. I don't like it. So if I can afford a doctor, I'll call the doctor home. Now, there are many persons like me. And of course, there are a whole lot of persons who see going to the hospital to go and sit down to waste an entire day as Cubans.
Go through the triage system, go through the documentation.
Now,
and all
what I built in the course of Corona for education can be replicated in medicine. What I intend to do with medicine is you can go on an Edo State platform. It doesn't have to be say Edo State medical platform. Most people are averse to anything government. You can use private partnership, give you fine coloration, packaging and all. People can go online and book sessions with doctors. These days, you can do WhatsApp video call, right? You can show somebody, here's something in my armpit and all that. He's a doctor. Once you're showing him, he already knows what you're saying. So he already has an idea. And you know from there, you can do the whole entirety of meeting the doctor in consultation. The doctor looks at it and sends you to a lab. And from there, he tells you to go to a pharmacy. Do you know one way or another you can use such software to control the operations of laboratories and pharmacies? It's like Uber or Taxify. The app is controlling drivers.
So, in other words, you're trying to tell Edolite that if you are given the mandate to represent them at the forefront, they are going to be having a digital governor.
I even said we are going to
because
digitalize.
you talked about packaging.
Yes.
So everything will be packaged.
Do you know I also proposed I was going to digitalize the operations of government. You see, when the operations of government from local government down to all parcels and ministries and government indeed is completely in an e-platform, do you know it's difficult for you to perpetrate fraud in government?
There won't be bottleneck. You think you will not have bottlenecks?
My brother, any challenge that comes up, the idea of life is that when you start up something, it comes with its own challenge. You deal with it. That's why we're living life.
Okay. All right, Paul, I think this is how far we can go. Time, like I said, is not always our friend.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday once more.
Thank you so much.
And we sincerely wish you all the best.
I just want to say one thing to Edo people.
Okay.
We are not fools at 40. At 40, we are wise. And we are fortified to take our people out of financial obscurity if given the mandate.
Okay, should I see that as your final word?
Yes, it is.
Thank you so much, Paul Kumboa, for finding time
Thank you
to
for
join
having
us
me.
on the program Road to Edo 2024. This is how far we can go. We'll be seeing you on the next one. My name is Daniel Praise Osedebagan. Good night.